On the surface, it's just a car, a cheerful, bug-eyed little Beetle. In 1968, this Volkswagen was the poster child for simplicity, quirky, reliable, and completely unassuming. But what if I told you this specific model, the 1968 Volkswagen Beetle, wasn't just a beloved icon of the 60s, it was also a vehicle that helped a serial killer lure his victims. Today, we're looking under the hood of a car that became a silent accomplice in one of the darkest chapters of American crime. Let's start with the nuts and bolts. The 68 Beetle came in 3 engine types: a 1.2 flat 4 with 34 horsepower, a 1.3 liter with 40 horsepower, and the top tier 1.5 liter pumping out a modest 53 horses. All rear mounted, air cooled, and simple by design. No radiator, no fuss, just honest German engineering meant to run forever. Paired with a 4-speed manual or the quirky new automatic stick shift, a semi-auto transmission with no clutch pedal, the Beetle was marketed for anyone to drive, from your grandma to your college roommate. 1968 also marked a leap forward in safety. The Beetle now came standard with dual-circuit hydraulic brakes and fully independent suspension, giving drivers more control and peace of mind, even on winding mountain roads. Inside, it gained creature comforts like a padded dash, hazard lights, and a proper fuel gauge. Volkswagen had finally stopped making you guess, when were you running on fumes? Can you imagine? The details were small but intentional. Pivoting vent windows for airflow, a fold-down back seat for cargo, everything had a purpose. Because somewhere in Utah, a man named Ted Bundy was removing the passenger seat from his own 68 Beetle, turning that clever German engineering into something else entirely, something sinister. But beneath its bubbly design was a darkness no one saw coming, until it was too late. The perfect disguise. You've probably passed one 100 times without even thinking twice. That was the genius of it. In 1968, the Volkswagen Beetle was everywhere. Nearly 400,000 were sold in the US that year alone. It was the iPhone of its era, ubiquitous, approachable, and above all, forgettable. And that made it the perfect cover. Ted Bundy didn't need speed. He didn't need horsepower. What he needed was invisibility, and the Beetle gave him just that. Compact enough to slip through traffic, familiar enough to fade into the background, and common enough that no one gave it a second glance. But Bundy didn't stop at just driving it, he modified it. He removed the front passenger seat entirely. Why? So he could lure the victim inside and have the space to restrain them, often forcing them down into the footwell out of view. And then there's this. He disabled the interior door handle, making it impossible for anyone inside to get out. Bundy turned a cheerful economy car into a mobile trap, one that drove him across the state lines while law enforcement scrambled to keep up. And here's the part that makes your stomach turn. By the time authorities realized what was happening, the inside of that Beetle had been stained with hair, blood, and fibers from multiple victims, all hidden in plain sight behind a smiling Volkswagen badge. Evidence in the metal. With the seat removed, the door handle gone, and his charm weaponized, Bundy didn't just drive the Beetle, he hunted in it. He'd pose as someone in need, an injured man, a student, someone harmless, and time after time, women got into the car thinking they were helping a stranger. They never got back out. This beige VW wasn't just for abductions, it was Bundy's transportation system. He crossed state lines undetected, using the Beetle to move victims and evidence from place to place. Its size, its familiarity, its silence, all of it allowed him to vanish again and again. Inside, he carried tools, handcuffs, rope, crowbars, and yet for months, years, this car evaded suspicion. It was just after midnight in August of 1975 when police in Utah pulled over a tan Volkswagen Beetle creeping through a quiet neighborhood. The driver was calm, polite, almost too polite. But the front seat was missing, and something about the situation didn't feel right. So they searched the car. Inside, they found a ski mask, a crowbar, a pair of handcuffs, rope, a flashlight, torn bed sheets, an ice pick. Bundy smiled and told them he was going skiing. Police didn't buy it. They arrested him on suspicion of burglary and impounded the car. What they didn't realize yet was that the tan Beetle they'd just impounded held the key to solving multiple murders. Then came the Carol Daranche connection. She'd escaped a man the year before who tried to kidnap her. The description and the car matched Bundy's perfectly. Inside the Beetle, investigators found hair, fibers from multiple victims, blood evidence, and forensic links that confirmed what many had feared: that Bundy wasn't just a suspect. He was the man they'd been chasing across the country. Today, that tan 1968 Volkswagen Beetle sits behind glass, preserved like a fossil from a darker time. It's on display at the Alcatraz East Crime Museum in Tennessee. Tourists stop, they point, some smile, others shudder. And maybe that's the most unsettling part, because this car, the one with the cartoonish headlights and the gentle hum of an air-cooled engine, was never supposed to be a symbol of fear. It was supposed to be a people's car, a countercultural icon, a bug that stood for peace, freedom, and simplicity. But in the wrong hands, it became a cage, a trap. The contrast is what makes it haunting. A vehicle designed to carry dreams, used to hide nightmares. The same design that made the world fall in love with the Beetle made it the perfect disguise for someone like Ted Bundy. It wasn't the horsepower, it wasn't the specs. It was how easily a machine could disappear into the background while carrying something truly monstrous. The 1968 Volkswagen Beetle is proof that a car doesn't need to be fast to be unforgettable. It's a reminder that what we drive, what we trust, can carry stories far darker than we can imagine. And sometimes, a monster hides behind the wheel. Thanks for tuning in. You want more deep dives where engines meet infamy? Subscribe and tell us in the comments what car you'd like to see us cover next. Because every car has a story, even the ones we'd rather forget.